Hello. It's been a little while. Um, just a little while. It's been almost a year. But really, I haven't been on YouTube properly in a couple of years, I'd say. I mean, it's been a pandemic. It has been a rough time, and that's okay. But I just wanted to talk about talk about a couple of things that have been going on in my life. I'm here. I'm vibing. I'm all right. I don't know if many of you will have noticed, but I didn't do my yearly hello insert year here video. Probably no one even noticed, but it did feel very weird not doing it because that is the first time in the history of my channel I've not done it. I started doing that at the end of 2014, so I've done that for quite a long time, and it felt weird not doing it. But also, I know that last year I didn't set any resolutions. You know, I usually look back at my last year's resolutions, see how I did, and set some new ones. But because 2020 was so unpredictable, I didn't set any resolutions at the end of 2020 because who knew the year we were about to have. And really, it was a rough year for me. It was up and down. So I've got some good and bad things that we're going to go through. We're going to go the good, the bad, and the next, I guess. But I figured I'd film whilst I don't look like trash. Not that that really matters. I'm just quite proud of my makeup today, pretty much. You have to bear with me though, because it's been a wild one, and not always in a good way. But I've got a cup of tea. I've got a cup of tea in grommet mug, and we're ready to I don't know, talk, I guess. So I'm gonna start with why I haven't been making videos, and that's for one reason, really, and that's just that I'm tired. Making a video takes a lot of energy, and so does editing it and making it, you know, everything I want it to be. My videos aren't exactly of cinematic quality, but I'd like to think they're average at least. So I don't know. But that pretty much on its own is the only reason I've not done anything in the last year or two. I've just been tired. It just takes a lot more out of me than it used to, and I don't know why that is. I guess that's just everything else going on in my life. But yeah. So I'm going to start with some of the bad things because it's a big thing in my life in the last year. So it's so weird. Not because I haven't spoken on camera in a while, but I feel like I haven't spoken a lot about this stuff in general, which is rough. But so a content warning for death and loss and grief. At the very beginning of 2021, I lost my cat. His name was Arthur. I'm sure many of you saw him random about on social media and YouTube and stuff over the years. And this impacted me hugely because I had Arthur since he was a kitten. I got him in 2008, so you know we really grew up together. He was really my best friend, which feels strange saying it about a cat, but I know anyone who has a pet will understand how much a pet becomes your best friend. So I lost Arthur at the beginning of the year, and this is the first time in my life that I've never had a cat in the house because, you know, we'd always had multiple cats at one time. It's just the last, you know, 6 or 7 years as the cats got older, we just kind of didn't get another cat to replace a cat. And honestly, one of the things I feel guiltiest about is I never made a video about Arthur when I lost him. And I did with my last 2 cats since I've been making videos, but I never did anything to say goodbye to Arthur other than actually saying goodbye to him. But that was rough because, well, I'm sure anyone can understand. And I still do really miss him. But on a happier note, I now have another cat. His name is Pinto, and we've had him for almost a year, which is mad. But I'll talk more about Pinto in a little bit. More on the topic of grief and loss. I've lost 3 friends in the last year, all for different reasons. Some I know, some I don't. And that's been huge, because this has been one of the first huge experiences of grief in my life. I lost a grandmother when I was 11. I lost a grandfather when I was like 4. They didn't really hit the same. And that's not to say I didn't care about them, obviously, but it's different when it's people my own age, my friends. And the thing is with online friends specifically is that often they drift in and out of your life. So the first person who I lost was my dear friend Bailey, who I had been very close to in this last year. You know, we've been friends since 2017, maybe even longer, 2016. And, you know, we were the kind of people that would drift in and out of each other's lives. We'd get closer, we'd kind of get busy with our own lives, and we'd see what we were doing on Snapchat and be like, oh my God, we need to do whatever. So I lost Bailey in August, which was... it is really rough. Because I know that I can't just message them again. I'm not just going to have them, you know, pop up on Snapchat replying to my story, or I won't just, you know, see what their cat's up to, or get a Twitch notification saying that they're live. And we went to the funeral in Wales in September, and oh my God, that was a rough day, understandably. Because I mean, as I said, aside from my grandmother when I was 11, that's the first funeral I've ever been to, and it still just feels weird to me, the fact that they're never gonna post stuff on social media again, or I'm just never gonna hear from them, because they were 20, and I know that they had a lot of medical problems, which was inevitably the issue, but it's, you know, they were in out of hospital a lot. They were on the mend, and then suddenly they weren't. And I log on Facebook one day and I see a post on their account from their family, and everything changed. Which I know it doesn't sound stupid. I'm not going to beat myself up for mourning, you know. But it was really something. And I don't think it's in here, I think it's in my bedroom, but I have a little sunflower that my mum bought me that just reminds me of Bailey. I've got my B notebook, which I write to Bailey in, and I just talk to them. I update them on things. I have a list of things I want to update them on, and I feel like, I don't know, it just feels wrong without Bailey now, but it really brought me and some other friends together again, which was really nice. It's just so unfortunate that was the circumstance, especially at the funeral. It was the first time that all of us who were so close in like 2016, 2017, it was the first time we had all been in the same place ever. And Bailey didn't even get to meet some of those people. It was a really, really rough day, and I couldn't have asked to be there with better friends. But that's obviously a huge factor in, you know, why I haven't had the energy to do a lot of things, because I'm really dealing with grief for the first time in my life. And that was in August, and it's been 6 months, so it's gets easier in a sense, but because we were the kind of people that drifted in and out of each other's lives, 6 months feels like nothing, you know. I've gone 6 months without, you know, having a full-on conversation with them before, but I just, it's different knowing that they're there. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not apologizing. It's a completely understandable thing. The next thing that happened at the beginning of January was I lost my friend Eliza. Eliza was another person who, my chest so loud. Eliza was another person who over the years we had drifted, but in 2018 we were so close, and it had been amazing just watching her on social media become more and more herself over the years as she transitioned. And again, just going onto Facebook and seeing a post that tagged Eliza and said what had happened was like, how many times am I going to log into Facebook in my life and see friends of mine no longer with us? And I still don't actually know if Eliza has had a funeral or not. Boy, oh boy. I still don't know if Eliza has had a funeral or not. If it hasn't, I really want to go, because yeah, why wouldn't I? But it just made me feel so bad for all the people I've drifted from in the last few years, who I used to talk to every single day without fail, who are now, you know, just people I follow on Twitter. I just still consider those people friends of mine, obviously, but it's just so sad that people I've drifted from are suddenly just gone. And Eliza and I were so close in 2018, in my first year of uni. She was just so warm and always cared so much about other people, like, so much. And she was a big part in me learning about my sexuality and my romantic identity. Like, we had always had a friendship where we just clicked. The first time we met was at a friend's gig. We'd known of each other on Twitter and stuff, but the first time we met was at a friend's gig. We drank some wine, and, you know, by the end of the night we were just holding hands, and it just felt right. But we knew it was only ever platonic, and I loved that, and I know Eliza did as well. And they stayed with me at uni at times. They met my flatmates, and there were times where I wondered why I didn't romantically like her, because we went on platonic dates, you know, we were just always like coupley, and it was just so strange because, well, it wasn't strange, it was just platonic, and I knew it was nothing more than that, and so did Eliza, and she was really a big part of me learning about my romantic identity, as I said, because it really solidified that you can't choose who you like, because I always felt that with the connection that Eliza and I had, if I was going to like anyone, you know, it was going to be her. Like, we're already so close, we're already like this around each other, so why don't I have this crush on her, you know? You know, it's all about learning, and again, just watching her become more and more herself over the years was just absolutely amazing. And she was just the warmest person. You could just instantly trust her, and she was really talented. So was Bailey. And this was just over a month ago that this happened, and again, it's just, when you drift from people, you always expect them to still be there, you know, because nothing ever happened to make you drift. You just have things going on in your life, and that's okay. But that was a major shock to the system. I also just really miss her, knowing that I can't, you know, message her again. And today, when I was out in London with a friend, I walked past one of the places we went on our little platonic date on the South Bank, and just thought of her. Like, there are so many times that I see things and I want to show Bailey, I want to show Eliza. And the next person I've lost, because it's a fucking list, is someone who I was not hugely close to, but when I met them, oh my god, they were the most wonderful person ever. Shay, not so secretly Shay, passed away during last week, and I know it has been a huge loss in the LGBT community, in the trans community, in the black community, and in all of the, you know, subcategories of that. Because Shay was incredible. Shay was the most selfless person ever. I met them at SITSI in 2019. I saw them on the gender identity panel. They were so wonderful. And then later I was hanging out at SITSI and they came up to me and they complimented my earrings. And again, we just clicked. They just were that kind of person that you could just trust. And while, you know, we were never super close, they came to Emblymas, which honestly I really appreciated because they hadn't known me that long. And but I would just watch all of the amazing things that Shay did on social media. They just seem so fearless. And I know this has just been a huge loss for so many people in the queer community and the black trans community and the black queer community and like all of that, because seriously, Shay was one of a kind. I don't have much more to say. I wish I'd got to spend more time with Shay, because, you know, we met, as I said, in 2019, and then the world went to shit, so I didn't really get to see them over the last 2 years, but that's three friends in less than a year that I never get to see or hear from or watch what they do ever again. And that's something I'd never thought I'd have to experience at my age. I'm 22, you know, I've lost a friend younger than me, the same age as me, and only 1 year older than me in the last year. It's just not something that anyone should ever have to go through, and my inbox is open if anyone ever wants to talk about any of these people and share any of their memories, because we're all grieving together for all of these people. And the thing is with grief is that it comes in different ways, and it's a different kind of grief for when you lose someone who is in your day-to-day life, your routine, than it is for someone who drifts in and out of your life and you're close to at different times. They're very different types of grief, but both are so valid, because I know I find myself being like, oh, but other people were closer to these people. But that doesn't matter. It's still really affected me. It's been a rough time, and it's draining to grieve. And I've never had to do it before, really. Like, originally my only real experience with grief had been my cat, and that was a very different kind of grief than a person. But I love all of those people, and there have been so many people in my life that I want to reach back out to because of this. Because it's just, I just hope people know that even if we're not close like we used to be, or even we're only on, you know, like a mutual, we follow each other basis, that any loss is felt if anything happened to anyone. Yeah. I just want to reconnect with people, and it shouldn't take losing people for me to want to do that. But also, just the idea of logging on to Facebook or Instagram one more time, or Twitter one more time, and just finding out that. It's rough. And I don't want to do it again. So let's move on to the good. I got a new cat. I love my cat. So much. His name is Pinto. He was really skittish and really shy when we first got him, but he's really come out his shell. He's not a cuddly cat, but he does really love us and he's really comfortable around us. I'm gonna put some pictures and stuff in, I guess. Next thing, I graduated uni. I did that. I did it almost a year ago now. I graduated uni. I did it. I did the dissertation, the project, all of that. I mean, I probably could have done better, but you know what? I had to do uni in a pandemic, so I think I did all right just graduating. I haven't had the ceremony yet, but I did it, you know? I dang did it. I also have a big boy job. I am a social media executive at a startup locally to me. Yeah, I think I'm doing all right. But I have a job, and I'm saving for a cat for Pinto to play with, for my own little kitten, a rescue kitten, of course, that will eventually come with me when I move out of my mum's. I also finally got a Nintendo Switch. I know I'm like two years late on the proper train, but you know what? I finally gave in, and I got a Switch on Facebook Marketplace with Animal Crossing. So if anyone wants to play Animal Crossing with me, hit me up. And overall, my mental health's doing all right. Like, I don't know where I'd be if my mental health was like it was in 2015 to 2018 in a pandemic. That would be a whole other story. But overall, I'm doing all right. Other than grief, which is understandable, I'm doing all right. And next, I don't want to stop doing YouTube, you know? I do love YouTube, and I love sharing, and I love my little video diary. I just haven't quite found the right balance of everything yet. And I don't want to stop. Same with activism. I know I've been quiet on the activism front. I've done a couple of things recently, but overall I've been quite quiet. I don't want to stop. I have no signs of stopping. I still have so much passion and so much to say and things I want to do. It's just finding the balance. And again, it's the being tired. But I do want to do more this year. I really do. And I mean, it's only February, you know. There's so much more to come. And in fact, tomorrow, I don't know when you're saying this, but on Valentine's Day will be the 5-year anniversary of me making my first video on asexuality on YouTube. I don't know where the time's gone. I really don't. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm vibing. It's just there has been a lot going on, and I just wanted to update and share that with you. I did stream on Twitch for a bit, and I do want to get back to that. It's just my stream kept crashing, so a little annoying when I'm trying to stream a game and I can't, but I really want to get back to that. And I don't know what's next, and that's all right. But I just really needed to talk. So my tea's almost gone cold. Little Gromit's nose is almost back to black. It's not quite cold yet, but it's really not what it was when I was busy crying. I'm gonna edit and upload this now. And yeah. Just thank you for all the unwavering support anyway. I know I've been quiet on a lot of social medias. As I said, I'm just working on finding the balance. But you know what? It's all right. It's all right. It's going to be all right. And I do feel better for having made this, but I think I'm going to go have a bit more of a cry later because I think that's very needed. But I wanted to do this video whilst I had the means to do it, I guess. Yeah. Oh, also, I built so much IKEA furniture in the summer. All of this I built. All of this I built. I also built our huge TV unit downstairs, which is also Calaxy. And I built a chest of drawers. I'm a DIY queen, as long as it's flat pack furniture with instructions. You know what? That is a big achievement to be able to do a lot of IKEA furniture. I haven't quite worked out how to, mount things onto walls yet, but, baby steps. It's been a rough year for everyone. Rough 2 years for everyone, and yeah. Thank you for watching. I'll see you the next time I make a video. Who knows when that will be, but I really do want to make some more videos soon. But yes, I appreciate all of the support and all of the love, I'm sure, and all of the love that I'm sure I'll get in the comments, because I know you guys, and I know I have so much support around me. But I'll see you soon, and yeah, thank you. I'm just going to finish my tea and have a cry now. But that's all right. Okay.